We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live.
Welcome to the Mouthpiece, episode 89, year 3. Today we're going to talk about my special 4,000 added in my online private game. We're going to talk about football starts next week. Politics, poker, lots of poker, and of course, the loss of my little boy Flashy. The Mouthpiece is next. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's been a tough few weeks. I was supposed to go down to LA and play high stakes week with Phil. I decided to pass on it because, Flash wasn't doing too good, and I thought he would not be around by the time I scheduled to play down there. And he actually started doing a lot better, and actually had my girlfriend kind of come over with her kids last weekend, and boy, he was really doing good. He had a lot of energy, and everything was great. And the next thing you know, yesterday morning at 4 o'clock, he started throwing up real bad. I didn't even think anything about it because I've seen him throw up a lot. I was getting ready to call the doctor to tell him how good he's been doing. And then he started throwing up, and I noticed that, so I said, I'll call the doctor at 8 to tell him about the throwing up. And then when I woke up at 8, he was just, obviously the doctor told me that the throwing up was him having a really bad stroke, and he was pretty much gone, so I had to do the right thing and put him down yesterday. It was a pretty tough night for me. It's going to be a tough few weeks. It's going to be longer than that probably. I've had him since I was 21. So we're going to do a lot of call-ins and talk about and try and celebrate his little life. I know all you guys have watched the show for the last 3 years know how much when Flash comes up, you guys really enjoy seeing him and everything. So we'll talk about that. The main thing we're going to start the show off today with is if anybody is interested in playing in my online private game, tomorrow at 7 p.m., $100 buy-in tournament with 4,000 added. We usually get around 20 to 30 players, usually about 30. So that's 300. That's $3K in the prize pool. I'm basically doubling it. We're calling it, kind of a free roll for Flashy. It's not actually a free roll. It's just money added. So if you're interested in playing in the online tournament tomorrow, email mouthpoker@yahoo.com. Mouthpoker@yahoo.com. If you deposit $200, you get $100 in the tournament and 4,000 added. So we'll talk more about that as the podcast goes on. Let's see. Football starts next week. I have made 3 5K preseason bets over under. I have over Cincinnati 9.5 minus 140. As you guys know, I don't bet the football anymore or any of the sports. I do the preseason. We pick usually 3 games, and then I have my 1,500 pick'em contest and my 1,000 suicide pool. And I do that for the whole year. And I tell you what, I have a lot more fun doing that than betting 10,000 and 5,000 and 2,000 and 3,000 in game and whatever the fuck I used to do. I look back and I still can't believe how much I lost betting sports. I mean, that was just crazy, you know. So, anyway, so my number one pick is Cincinnati over 9.5. I also went over San Francisco 9.5 minus 125. And our third pick, we went with Seattle under 6 minus 130. Now, me and Phil and my best friend Ben spent a lot of time on these three picks. I was more leaning towards going under 5.5 plus 130. They felt that even though for the 60-cent difference, the half a game was pretty big, meaning Seattle would have to win 7 for us to lose. Seattle won 7 last year with Russell Wilson. I don't think they're winning 7 with Geno Smith. So, I actually like that as our best pick. Cincinnati over the 9.5 is a pretty darn good pick in a real weak division. I mean, Pittsburgh's going to be weak. Cleveland with no quarterback's going to be weak. Baltimore, I mean, depends what you think of Lamar Jackson. I don't think much of him. I think Baltimore's a pretty lucky team. So I see 5 wins just right there in the conference. I think people are taking Cincinnati really light, like not giving them respect they deserve going to the Super Bowl last year. So, that's it. Those are my 3. I'm also on an outside winger. Haven't decided yet, but it might be a 3K play over 7.5 on the Washington Redskins, plus $1.25. That's not guaranteed yet. We're leaning towards that. Weak division. Dallas, I think, is really overrated. Philadelphia is much improved. Giants are much improved. So we're leaning over on the Washington. I can't even call them the Commanders because to me that gives into the woke mob. So the Washington Redskins over 7.5, maybe, and so it's either we're going to go over on the Washington Redskins or under on Dallas. It's those are the 2, and that's going to be for about a 2 to 3K bet for the series. But the 3 that we decided on: Seattle under 6, Cincinnati over 9.5, and San Francisco over 9.5. San Francisco's now moved to 10, so I don't think you can get the 9.5. Phil, people want to say, Phil likes to brag about, I've won 10 years in a row and all my preseason picks. Yeah, but the only thing is last 6 years, we've done it together. So
my ROI is the best ROI in history. I'll say that.
Yeah. Here's another little look, Daniel. Look at what she put this here. You see?
I did see that.
Yeah, that's really nice, Rachel. So I woke up today and the girl I'm seeing put a bunch of pictures of me and Flash all around the house, and I didn't even know she did it. So until I woke up today, because she lives in L.A. So it was really nice to see. She sees how attached I was to Flash. So 21 years, almost. He almost made it. He was doing so good. We were joking around 2 days ago that he'd improved so much. Like, even though he was blind and he had the stroke the first time, he stopped running into walls. He stopped walking into corners. He started walking up in the bed, talking to me again. Literally, he's such a smart cat. He learned how to walk. He learned how to navigate himself blind, and he did it fluently in about 7 weeks. So, I really had high hopes that he was going to be okay, and unfortunately, when he had another stroke yesterday, it left him almost paralyzed and completely unresponsive to me, and he couldn't eat, drink, or anything. He just was completely unresponsive, and I took him in, and I was hoping for a miracle, but I knew there was nothing they could do. So it was really tough on me last night. It'll be probably tough on me today, tomorrow, and for the next few weeks, because you still think he's going to show up and be around, but once it sinks in, I'm never going to see him again. It'll be pretty tough on me. I worry more about the other cats. Little Ace, he's had him since he was birthed. He's been with him since he was born, and Ace is so dependent on Flash. So he was you could see that he was really depressed. How amazing cats are is when we came home yesterday and I had the paperwork and Flash's collar laying on my bed, Ace came over and he literally sat on it for 20 minutes. That's how cats just know. They're really amazing. So, I was going to do a podcast yesterday, and I was going to have Flash on because he was doing so good. I wanted you guys to see him again, how good he was doing, and then everything bad happened yesterday, and it's part of life, man. Just gotta move forward. It's tough. I'll try not to cry on the stream today. I did a lot of crying yesterday, so so let's go. Let's see. We'll switch over to poker. A lot of things happened last week. Phil got a lot of shit on that high stakes weeks on the streams for doing his normal, playing 100, 200, 400 with 3,000 in front of him. He says he's going to buy in for no less than 300K on a stream from now on. Okay, we'll see. I'd like to see it. I do agree that Baker Mayfield is the second best quarterback in that division. I think Cleveland made a huge mistake with the Deshaun Watson thing, even though I think Deshaun Watson's a top 5 quarterback. But will he be a top 5 quarterback coming back from basically 2 years off? How many quarterbacks have you guys seen in the history of football to miss 2 years and come back and be a top 5 quarterback? Not 1 year, 2 years basically. Last year in 11 games. Baker Mayfield really got a bad rap. I mean, he was playing with an injured shoulder and an injured thumb last year. I'm not saying Baker Mayfield's a great quarterback, but I think Cleveland gave him the shaft, my opinion. We'll see what happens. So high stakes week was pretty unbelievable. They had the 116-hour stream. I want to congratulate Ryan Feldman on Nick Fertucci on an amazing week, high stake week. I think that I'm going to literally have Ryan come on the podcast here next week, maybe Ryan and Nick, to discuss how basically the success of the stream is doing really well. As far as poker goes for me, I have not been doing well. So you guys have heard me not brag, because I don't like to brag, but tell you about how I won 42 out of 43 weeks and life was great. And so I decided after 5 weeks off of not playing poker that I was bored and Flash was doing better. So I was going to jump in, and last week I played one day. I played as poor as I possibly could have played, literally as poor as I could have played. Lost 24,000, and jumped in this week. Played a hand as bad as I could play. I shouldn't say I played it that bad. I knew he didn't have the nut flush draw. And in a bomb pot, I flopped a open ender and a queen high flush draw, and I called, came a spade on the turn, 8 of spades. He bet small, I called, then he overbet river, and I almost folded. I thought maybe he had like king 6 of spade. The flop came 5, 6, 7 with 5, 7 of spades. I had the queen 4 of spades. So when the 8 of spades came on the turn, he could have had ace 6 of spade, I guess. But anyways, I my instincts just told me he didn't have the ace high flush, and I ended up calling, and he had 9, 6 of spade for a straight flush. I lose like 10,000 in that hand. I end up losing 7,500 for the day. So I'm down like 32,000 last 2 plays. And then Flash got, what happened with Flash yesterday, so I didn't play. So that's kind of like where I stand the last 2 plays playing poker. I took the week off. I was supposed to be in LA. I was supposed to play the WPT, and instead I lost 32,000 in 2 plays here. So it's part of poker. I mean, you can't just, I've told you all for a long time that I knew I was running extremely, extremely well. And I shouldn't even blame myself. It's not like the money I lost is I ran bad. I played bad. I mean, I paid off a 9K bet for where I was drawing dead with top pair, and he had the nut flush. I paid off made a $10,000 bluff for no reason. Everything I lost is self-inflicted. So, I need to play better. And I always worry when I take time off. What's the biggest problem that happens to people when you play poker every day or you don't play poker for a month is the toughest thing is if you put yourself in tough spots, is getting away from hands because you haven't played in a while and you're not really, zoned in. And so, everything I lost was payoffs, not getting away from hands. And my greatness of playing poker is getting away from hands. I am fantastic at getting away from hands. So when you're not getting away from hands and you haven't played in a while, then you end up losing. So a tough couple plays in the cash games. You asked if I play with Keating. Yeah, I play with Keating all the time. Keating is a good hustler. Let's just put it that way. Keating can do things I can never do. Antonio Esfandiari can do it. Keating can do it. I know other people that do it. I cannot go into a game, gamble, expect to lose, so I could then get invited to bigger games and win a lot more money. I mean, I can't lose 200,000 on purpose so I can win 800,000 in the long run. It's just not in my repertoire. I just can't lose. I place that to win all the time. So it's yeah. So it's just not in my repertoire of losing on purpose to get invites to bigger games. Keating's a really good guy. He's a good poker player. Don't think that his 90% ROI is the way he plays poker, because it's he's really good at advertising. That's all I could tell. I shouldn't even be saying that, you know. Then you mad at me for not getting invites or whatever. I mean, he's not. Listen, is Keating a great player? No, but he gives action and he gets paid. And I mean, you saw the hand with Persons, who had ace high when he had fives full, just bluff off 400,000 of them. And I mean, well, what's he gonna do? I mean, when Wesley calls 135,000 pre-flop with 2 10s, like, let's see, 135,000 is what, 35 big blinds? No, what am I saying? Let's see, 400 big blinds. So yeah, 10 is 4,000. Oh, what am I saying? Like 300 big blinds, 350 big blinds with 10s pre-flop. Yeah, what are you gonna do? I mean, you think Wesley's gonna stay in money calling 350 big blinds with 10s pre-flop? Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch too much. I watch a little bit. You know, I'm just not a poker watcher. It's just really not what I do. So, let's see. So we got September 1st. NFL starts next week. I can't believe it. It seems like yesterday I was in Cabo for Super Bowl weekend. Wow. I mean, just time flies. I can't even believe it. You know, the World Series, 2 months. Took a month off, you know. The doctor said Flash had 2 weeks to live when he had the first stroke, second week of the series. Then he had a retinal hemorrhage 3 days before the series ended, and the doctor said there's no way he lives more than 2 more weeks. And he actually recovered from them, and he ended up living 8 more weeks. So God bless him, you know. He was a fighter to the end. You know, he did really good. Pretty proud of him, actually. You know, it was really sad to let him go, but he fought to the very end. I see people want to ask me also, and we're going to start taking some phone calls here for anybody who wants to talk. We talk about lots of things, but I was talking to Berkey yesterday. So Berkey thinks Phil is just like the worst poker player ever, right? And all Phil does is win. I didn't want to go public, you know, with our little spat on Twitter. And I like Berkey. I think he's good for poker. But, I mean, Berkey is a really good guy. And can he play good, Berkey? He can, but every time I watch, there's a lot of things that he doesn't like about Phil's game, but Phil can make big folds. Berkey can't. He said that he would mortgage his house and his deed to his house to play Phil head up 1,000, 2,000. Okay. Phil will play him 1,000, 2,000. He'll buy him for 200,000, 100 big blinds. Then Phil will buy in another 200,000, and it's head up. And I just think that people's egos get in their way. I've said it before, egos will break you, cards will make you. Stay humble. And I understand there's a lot of things about Phil's game that a lot of the top players just despise and think he's bad at or whatever. But you know, he does so many good things also that overcome them. And I'm not trying to just toad on Phil, because Phil has, he has a lot of flaws, and his ego's in always fucking himself. You know what I'm saying? But all he does is win. So I think when you overreact, everything's a knee-jerk reaction, right? It's like, let's even in politics, right? So many people. Oh, I despise Trump as a person. But they don't see a lot of the good things he do. They can't see past the way the man as a person is, and he's, I think he's a fucking idiot. But I'm just saying. But that doesn't mean that he hasn't done amazing things for the country. See, so they can't see past the hatred of him. It's the same thing with Phil. They can't see past how poorly Phil sizes, how poorly Phil's mechanics are, and see a lot of the good things he does and how he goads people into doing certain things. So, everything when I said projection, you project things, and you got to be able to see past what your brain sometimes thinks it sees. It projects things, it sees a certain thing, and you get an emotional response. Oh, Phil sucks at poker. Look how bad he played. That's an emotional response, right? Oh, Donald Trump, what a fucking idiot. Look what he just said. That's an emotional response instead of a sometimes smarter response. So, I don't think Phil's and Berkey are ever going to play. And if they played, I personally would put my money on Phil. You know how many times I've sat there and told Phil I don't like his chances, and he just beats everybody. I mean, say what you want. Maybe everybody's right, and he's the luckiest player in poker. Maybe it's possible, but he's beaten everybody who stepped up to the plate against him. He's beat Doug. He's beat Jungle Man. He's beat Tom Dwan. He's beat Daniel 3 times, Antonio 3 times. I mean, there comes a point that you need to just try and analyze some of the things he does. Like I said, when you 5-bet the 3-8 of clubs, check call the Jack 10-6 rainbow board with the 3-8 of clubs, and then rip it on the turn and win a pot, and then you fold for one bet, ace jack of spades, and Daniel has ace queen. Do you really, really think that that's just luck? No, it's called instincts. It's intuition. Phil's got great intuition and he's got terrible mechanics. But Phil admit he has terrible mechanics. I just don't know why he doesn't want to work on them, but that's up to him. Anyways, let's take some phone calls for about an hour, and then we'll watch the Notre Dame Ohio State game tonight. So let's, before we take some phone calls, if you haven't heard yet and you want to play, $4,000 added in my online private game tomorrow. Email mouthpoker@yahoo.com. Email mouthpoker@yahoo.com. $200 deposit. There's going to be about 25 or 30 people, which is a $2,500 to $3,000 prize pool, and there will be 4,000 added. It's basically a free roll for Flashy. All the people who play in my game, we have Zoomed and all hung about for about the last 2.5 years. And, Flash was really special to them. And also, so we're going to do a little $4,000 added to the prize pool in celebration of Flash's life. Email mouthpoker@yahoo.com. $4,000 added tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Deposit $200 buy-in tournament, and you'll have a chance to basically win double the prize pool. It'll be more than double the prize pool. So I'd like to see you guys come on in there and shoot the shit with me and everybody. I'll also be $100 bounty. So not only will it be 4,000 added to a 30-player prize pool, but then I'll also be $100 bounty. I might even be a $200 bounty. I'm not sure. Email mouthpoker@yahoo.com, and then that'll be tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So let's take some phone calls. We haven't talked any politics yet. We can talk about Biden's disastrous speech 2 days ago, where he looked like he was in the gates of hell screaming, MAGA, 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 we're all gonna die, MAGA, MAGA, oh, we're gonna die, there's such a threat to, yeah. I keep hearing about the threat to democracy. I don't see any MAGA people burning shit down. I see Antifa people burning shit down. Shit, they burned down 140,000 businesses in 2020. 140,000. Most of them owned by black-owned businesses. And we have the mainstream media. Crickets. Let's do it.
The Mouthpiece.
If you'd like to take part in our phone call segment, you can give us a call at 702-329-0480. And if you're a snowflake or a pussy and you don't want to talk to me, you can email me at mouthpiecepodcast@gmail.com. Also, follow me at the Mouth Matiso on Twitter for times that our call-in segment will be live.
702-329-0480. Give us a call. We'll talk poker. We'll talk Flash. We'll talk sports, politics. What else is there to talk about? NFL next weekend. Ooh, I can't wait. It's going to be fun. Fun to watch. It's fun watching the NFL without betting. 702-329-0480. Give me a call. You know, what's his name? Kirk made a good point. Phil has more money than all of them and values money more than these flash-in-the-pan gamblers. That is so true. Phil truly has a lot of money and values it. He has no interest in losing $200,000 or $300,000 in a session, right? Like these guys are like, man, yeah, I'll play. I'll lose $1 million. It's not my money. I'm getting staked, right? But when you got money, you know, nobody likes to lose $300,000 or $200,000. Fuck, I hate to lose $20,000. And I hate to lose $2,000. You know, yeah, you hate to lose $2,000. You know, it's like if you don't like to lose, you don't play big. It doesn't mean that you're afraid. It means you worked your ass off your life and you don't want to risk. In poker, nothing's guaranteed. I mean, I don't know. They say Garrett's like the best player, right? I watched him lose $100,000 in a hand I wouldn't have lost fucking 7,000 with yesterday. You know, I mean, I don't even understand calling a 5-bet with tens. I mean, what was he hoping to be for another 47,000? Maybe that again. Maybe he's setting them up for something later in the game. I don't know, but you know, some people like to win or lose 200,000, 300,000 a day. You know, I don't. Phil don't, and doesn't, and that's it. So that's just the way he plays. 702-329-0480. Give me a call. We'll talk about whatever y'all want to do. If you motherfuckers don't want to talk to me, I don't give a shit. I'll just go watch some football. Is our phones working, bro? Mm-hmm. They are? They should be. Nobody loves us? Nobody loves me anymore? Well, you know, I haven't had a podcast, and this is only the second one we've had in about 8-9 weeks. You know, we had the World Series, and then we had and then Flashy was sick. So, here's something we haven't talked about. People want to know about Texas. We'll get to that in a second. Welcome to the Mouthpiece. This is Mike.
Hey, Mike, how you doing? It's Giovanni from Santa Teresa, California. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry about your cat, man. That's a big hit, and I always appreciated watching Flashy come out. Man,
Yeah.
it was always fun.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. So many of the regulars that listen to the show that always like, him coming up and saying hello, and he's a good cat. I mean, I was blessed. I mean, he was 4 months short of his 21st birthday. I mean, that's a long time for a cat to live. It's like he was over 100 years old. So. It was the only thing that really shocked me is he was improving so much after he had the stroke the second week of the series. Learned how to walk blind, and stopped by the time before he passed away yesterday. He literally stopped running into things. He stopped going into corners. He's such a smart cat. He adapted so well. So, it was a big hit on me because I didn't see it coming. I saw him improving every day. Where most of the time you see your animals, when things start to go bad, they start to deteriorate every day. And even the doctor said he was really, really shocked that he took such a bad turn. Like that, and he said that he had that when he had like a 3-minute vomiting, or he was like wrenching and retching, and I'm like, I was going to call the doctor as soon as I woke up just to see if I had some medicine for his stomach, and then the doctor said that hard vomiting was probably having a stroke, and that's where it left him, the situation where he was. So it's.
I do have a question for you, poker-wise. I mean, not transition, make a hard transition.
No, we're good. I'm really doing well. I'm having a good day.
Good. Well, so I've taken a few bad beats, and I've decided to kind of take a break. I was wondering if you've ever had, where you were just getting beat, and you thought, I need to take a break, and how long does it take you to kind of recover mentally from
that's a really good fact. Okay, so like I was saying earlier, my last 2 plays I've lost 32,000, right? All of it, not even some of it, is self-inflicted. It's just like easy getaways that I paid off, and that's because I hadn't been playing for a month. But even the other day when I lost 7,500, I quit the game. I noticed that I'm sitting there for an hour, 2 hours, and I'm just getting no hands, right? And I said, in the old days, I just sit there and grind, right? In this day and age, now that I'm doing well in life and I'm not under so much pressure to win, I just said, you know what, I'm gonna quit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm not catching cards. I don't feel comfortable in the game yet. And again, when you don't play, No Limit Hold'em's a total game of feel. During the series and going into the series, I was in a big winning streak in No Limit. I had a great feel. My moves were good. I was getting away from hands. Everything was great. I knew the first week I played one day and I won like 32,000, and I'm like, wow, I played really good. I'm like, I hadn't played in like a week, But then after taking a month off, all of a sudden I was back to trying my hardest. And here's another reason why I quit, like in the game the other day. Like even when I was down, the day before I lost 7,500, I broke dead even, but I got 12,000 in with aces. Thought there was a limper. I raised big, call, came 4-8-9 with 2 hearts. I bet big, guy behind calls, and the limper check raises to 2,500. Now I got aces with the ace of hearts, so there's 4-8-9 with 2 hearts, so that takes away the nut flush draw. So what do I beat? I beat Jack 10 of hearts, right? But I ripped it in there anyways. He had 3 fucking 8s. Of course he did. We run 2 boards. On the second board, I hit heart to suck out to get my money back. And then I just quit because I'm like, what are you doing? This is just like an easy fold. It's like he never has a draw here. I've got the ace of hearts. The only hand I beat is Jack 10 of hearts. He's never check raising 2 players with a 9. You see what I'm saying? So I was real upset about that. That was another hand that I didn't get away with. So I was talking about, okay, I lost 32K the last 2 weeks, and all 32K I didn't get away from the hands, right? And then there was 12K I didn't get away from. I got lucky. So I see I'm not playing well, and I see I'm not getting cards. I just decided to quit that day, and then quit the other day down 7,500. So when you say, what you asked, taking time off, if you're not getting cards and you feel like you're not getting away from hands, or you're not playing your best, or you're not bluffing enough, or when you're bluffing, you're getting caught, take a couple days off and reset, man. That's what I do. If I don't like the way I'm playing, or I'm not catching cards, now the old me never did it. The old me just never quit, But I tell myself, hey, Mike, you got a good life right now. You're almost out of debt, pretty much out of debt. You're sitting, you don't need to lose 20, 30 day after day after day, and then what happens? You lose 10 days in a row. Now you're struggling for money again. And don't worry, people think that you can't lose 25,000 10 days in a row. You got another thing coming. That's why, Kirk was talking about Phil. He's like, yeah, Phil doesn't like to gamble and lose big money like these fucking gamblers, and he's right. Why do you need to lose a lot of money when you got a lot of money, right? Like, people don't understand.
I don't judge anybody how they play. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if he, wants to be conservative with his money, that's fine. But whatever happens at the table,
and the truth of the matter is if Phil sits down with 300,000 and he wins 300. Hey, Mike, I got a good day. I won 300. Doesn't do anything that changes life, right?
Yeah.
He loses 300.
Right.
Phil goes crazy. He is an emotional person. He fucking hates to lose, okay? So Phil would rather win small all the time, like chop, 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 or lose small, you know what I mean? Then that's just what he does, and people don't see what the good things. Okay, so what does Phil do? He puts himself on streams with the biggest streamers in the world, who then retweet a lot of the hands, and then he gets hundreds of thousands of followers, and he risks very little. So what people don't see what he's getting out of it, right? He's friends with all these big streamers. They call him all the time. They call him to play poker with. And he risks very little, and he gets invited to, he gets himself on. People don't see what Phil's doing. Phil doesn't want to gamble big, but you know what? It's going to be interesting. People just keep calling him out and calling him out and calling him out, and they see how he plays. Oh, he's a nit. He's a nit. He's just a nit. Well, let me tell you something. The most successful poker players in the world are fucking nits, okay? People who play tight is right. Don't listen to any of the bullshit. Tight is fucking right. It's just it. Tight is right.
Yeah, what happened to me was I started way like in the moneymaker boom, and when I went to the bike and somebody said, "Hey, that's the 2040 game," I thought it was the 2040 buy-in game, you know.
Okay.
But I ended up sitting and learning how to play poker at the 2040 limit and mix game up there at the bike. And I was sitting with Juwanda and all these guys, and I had no idea who they were. It wasn't until I saw them on TV, I'm like, yeah, I'm playing with that guy, you know. So I started playing kind of back then, that was 2040, it was higher stakes.
Yeah.
But now, like, you know, I went busto. I went super busto, and I never borrowed money from anybody. So I just kind of worked my way up, and I went back to school, got a house. So I'm like you, how you're saying, like, you feel like you're in a good place, you don't need to lose much, right?
Right.
So then I jumped back into the game, and I think and 5-5 is big for me now. You know, like 5-5 is big for me because, you know, I have bankroll set aside just for poker, and I couldn't launch, like I couldn't rocket. My rocket got capped, you know, because I kept getting sucked out on, you know. So, you know, I'm just, you've been around for a long time, so you know the ups and downs way more than me. And like you said, I'm not going to risk my livelihood for poker again, you know, because I did that once and it was fun.
Well, I mean,
you know,
I've had tens of millions of dollars, and I've lost so many millions betting sports and playing the biggest games. And I used to play and couldn't give two fucks about 100,000, you know. And now I play where 5,000 means something to me. I mean, I used to go to strip clubs. I used to go to strip clubs and spend $5,000-$10,000 every Saturday night with my girlfriend.
Wow.
I mean, we got my girlfriend. My girlfriend liked strippers, and she liked drinking champagne. And you go to the strip clubs, it was $1,250 for a bottle of what's the good stuff called? No, not Dom, but the one after that. Cristal. So we drink 2-3 bottles of Cristal, $37.50. The strippers are there with us drinking, and they're drinking shots. It was like, you know, and it was like I didn't have any respect for money, you know. Then I had the injury, and things got bad for me, and then what happens, you know? Now I have respect for money. I play in good games. When I'm winning and I'm playing well, I keep playing. If I'm losing and if I misplay a hand or two, I just quit. And that's the biggest key when you're playing poker. The biggest lesson you need to learn is, people do the opposite. They get stuck and they just keep playing and they play bad. How many people do you know play good when they're stuck? Not many. I'm one of them. I don't know if you're one of them or not. I play better when I'm stuck, right? So most people start playing bad, and when they're stuck, they play worse, and they keep playing. So overall,
I play okay.
Right.
I'm okay short stacked, but when I'm feeling broke, I play terrible.
Right. Okay. So what have I learned? What have I learned? Was that Danielle?
No, that's Tara.
Oh, it's Tara.
I forgot to bring over your cookies. If she made.
Oh, okay. Hi, Tara. Hi. And so what have I learned the most? When you're playing well and you're winning, you keep playing. Because what happens when you're winning and playing well? People kind of fear you, allows you to make more moves, allows you to steal more pots, right? What happens when you're playing well? People are losing and not playing well. Oh, look, he's losing. I'll call. He's playing bad. He can't win a pot, right? So what does that tell you? It took me, in 2008, I figured this out. So you're talking about 12 years of playing poker, always playing when I'm buried for days, and not playing. People like, oh, I'm up 8,000. Oh, okay, I'm up 8,000. I think I'm going to quit for the night and go see a movie, right? They always hit and run when they're winning and play forever when they're losing. Well, it's the opposite. You're supposed to play as long as you can when you're winning and quit when you're losing, because you're always going to be in a better frame of mind, and people are going to fear you more when you're winning than when you're losing. And so everybody does the opposite, and you see it over and over and over. How many people do you watch that get stuck, right? The average person get out. Yeah. Most of them play bad, and they just have a terrible night. You know, we had a guy in our game the other day. Now I wasn't feeling good. This was the night Flashy got sick. This was basically not last night, but the night before, where I wasn't feeling good. I was down $83. I had a stomach virus. I wasn't feeling good. I quit, right? But one of the guys in the game who we like to play with, in 5 minutes was down 19,000. I said, well, this guy's going to, and he ends up losing a pretty big number, right? And I don't want to talk numbers or anything, but that you see it all the time. And of course, I wasn't feeling good. I'm like, I should have gotten the game. I knew he was going to go off for a big number. He always does when he gets stuck. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just kind of like what you were just saying. If you're not running good, take time off. Take a couple days off. If you don't feel good, you get back in the game. You don't feel like playing, quit. You're not in no rush to play. Now, if you need to play to make money, to make to pay your bills, well, then you better wash your fucking face, get in that fucking shower, grab yourself some caffeine, clear your fucking head, and jump in there. You know what I'm saying? But if you're in a spot that you're not that desperate to do it, absolutely take as much time as you can off. Make yourself ready to play.
Yeah, I think I'll play your game tomorrow. I'll play that. It sounds pretty cool. I'll be emailing you, and getting in that game sounds like fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate the call. Get in there, and I'm going to send you some good vibes, my man, and have a good week playing. And if you want to come jump in the little $4,000 added tournament we're running in my online game tomorrow, email mouthpoker@yahoo.com. The cash games will be good, small games, a lot of fun, and it'll be an extra. It'll be an extra $2,000 added for first, probably. So, nice. All right, my man, take care. Thanks a lot. All right. All right, 702-329-0480. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. in my online poker room. Email mouthpoker@yahoo.com. Deposit $200, 4,000 added into our 7 p.m. tournament. It's gonna be good. Yo, welcome to Mouthpiece.
Yo.
Who's this?
This is your old pal Jones from your chat.
Yeah, what's going on, man? How are you?
Oh, not too much, Mikey. I always wanted to call in. I watched you for years and years, man. I've been a poker player since I'm just a couple of years older than you. I played cards since I was 5 years old, man.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I appreciate you.
Oh, I love the game. I love the game. I love the game, and I love your show, man. And I just wanted to call in and let you know that I'm a fan of yours, and I like that you speak up on all these things too that are going on in America. God bless America, man.
Yeah,
people
man.
need to speak up now.
You gotta try and educate people. Try and see people. Most people in what's going on in America, they can't see past their own bias. Okay, and I've learned, because I used to be way far on the right. I mean, I think I'm five degrees on the right now, maybe. But I've learned to separate your bias from reality, and I try and teach people what was going on. I mean, if you look back at everything I said about the vaccines, right? I was right about everything. Everything I said about almost everything, that they called it conspiracy theories, right? I ended up being right about, right? It's like, how many conspiracies can one person be right about? It's like, it's so unbelievable that we live in such a dishonest country when it comes to our media, that it's sad. It's terrible. It's
terrible.
It's
criminal. What's going on? It's just. It's over the top, and.
But
it's good for people to speak up, man.
If you said, let's just say you didn't know, I was, when I first became political, I was really uneducated, right? So let's just say, and people looked at me like I was crazy, like, what are you talking about? Everything the media says is a lie. They looked at you, and if you're a regular everyday person, you would be like, okay, this guy has got a screw loose. What's he talking about? But when you do your homework, you realize that every single thing the media says is made up. It's all propaganda. All of it.
It's true.
And how is
they're controlled 100%?
They're all controlled by the lobbyists and the high interest in the what's it called, the interest people. That's it. The whole world is controlled by the rich, the very few people.
It's true, man. It's true. I'm an old geezer, and I've been a political junkie kind of all my life. I grew up in a house where my mom and dad told me that I should pay attention to what's going on because, you know, these politicians, they'll try to cheat you. They'll try to lie to you. They'll try to steal from you.
They're all. I mean, and I'm not
all the time. So
I'm not just talking about
I'm
not talking about just on the left, but the right. They're just as corrupt. The Lindsey Grahams and McConnells of the world. Those two people, Lindsey Graham and fucking Mitch McConnell, are so corrupt that it's disgraceful. I mean, they're just as bad as Pelosi and Schumer. I mean, it's just you got to pay attention to what's going on, and there are a lot of there's a lot of good people. You know, I'm really good friends.
There's a lot of good people still, for sure. There definitely is a lot of good people in the world, man.
Yeah.
It's time for to put these criminals out to pasture, man. Take our world back. I know a lot of people hate politics, and I understand that.
Well, it's so divisive. That's why, you know, it really is.
They try to make it venomous, and they try to make it as boring as they can because they don't want people to pay attention. They don't want people to
But
watch,
they don't. The biggest thing they don't want is they want to divide us. The media has to divide us to make us hate
divide
each other
and conquer,
and make their side, you're right or I'm wrong, right? And so it's like, even with my friends that are on the left that are on my stream, right? We're friends. We get along. We're not divided. We're divided by what the media tells us. You see what I'm trying to say? The media makes us believe that I'm right, you're wrong, you're right, I'm wrong. See what I'm saying?
Sure, they want us all to hate each other.
Yeah. And like I told somebody, you know, me and my friend Danny, we were hanging out a couple weeks ago, and we were talking, and the truth of the matter is right, you have the 15% wackos on the left and 50% wackos on the right? So, and then you have the 35% on each side, right? And we're not, on the right, we're not right about everything. On the left, they're not wrong about everything, and vice versa, right? Sure. So of that 35% on each side, you have the fruit and you have the poison. You have to separate the fruit from the poison on each side. And you debate the fruit and the poison with your friends of the 35%. And if you're able to accept, once you accept the fruit on each side, that's called, you know, what is it called? Bipartisan, right? So you accept what they're saying. Okay, I agree with you. Okay, when you disagree, then it's still the poison. And it stays the poison until you learn to try and agree. And everything's about acceptance and non-acceptance.
Right, that's right.
You know?
That's their biggest fear, is they want us all to hate each other. They want us all to be divided and mad at each other.
Yep.
And that's their biggest fear, is that we'll all unite and say, listen, this is enough of this.
They can't have that. They say, I want to unite. They don't want to unite no country. They want to unite the country on their values. The worst nightmares. Right?
If the people ever really united, that would be the worst nightmare.
How can they get people out to vote if we're united? Right? Yeah. What happened? What happened the last time the country was united? Right? Think about it. Think about what happened the last time the country was united. It was after 9/11, and George Bush got a second term. Right? He won a second term with one of the biggest landslide victories in our lifetime. You know, they can't have that. They can't have that, because if the country's united and everything's going well, who's ever in power, right, will then stay in power. So if the Democrats are in power, the GOP can't have the Democrats unite everyone, or they'll stay in power, right? So they have to do whatever they can with their fake news, to get everybody angry enough so the GOP gets in power. Now, if the GOP got in power, what happens if they unite? Well, then the other side won't see power. You see what I'm saying? So they must keep us separated. And it's pretty sad.
That's true, man. It's true, man. Hey, and I know people, when they hear politics, they get that blank look, and I understand it. It can be mind-numbing, but
it is.
We all need to, for the common good, people need to speak up and stand against this stuff. I love my fellow man. I love my country. I don't want to see anyone screwed over. I don't want to run anyone over. I don't want to control anyone. I don't want to steal anyone's stuff.
With all the horrible things that are going on in the world, right? The thing that I am very passionate about, and even Daniel, who's on the left, is passionate about, is the gender ideology being pushed on young kids. That's true poison. That is true poison. The fact that they're
like murder.
It's like
murder when
the fact that they're literally like cutting 10 and 11-year-olds' breasts off, and I mean, we have got to stop the. I have no problems with transgenders over 18. You do what you want. We must find a way to stop this.
Little kids, no way.
Yes,
man. Leave them alone.
I mean, can you imagine? You remember when you were 8, 9 years old? I mean, you wanted to be a pirate. You wanted to be a fireman. Now they're like, oh, how do you like being a girl? Would you like to be a boy? Yes, Mom. That would be fun to be a boy. Okay, my kid's transgender. Fucking give him a penis. Cut off her boobs. Oh, you want to be a girl? Cut off his penis. I mean, what world are we living in? That's my biggest thing.
It's true, Mikey. It's true, Mikey. And I just wanted to let you know, hey, I appreciate people that speak up. I try to speak up whenever I can. And, everyone in the chat, hey, God bless everyone. God bless America.
Yep.
God bless all the people that believe in freedom and truth and decency. And, I love poker and I love all that stuff. But people just need to pay a little bit of attention to what's really going on here and save our fellow man. Let's save this, save our country.
I agree.
Save us.
You got it, my man.
Evil garbage.
These
guys have been doing this stuff for 150 years or more than that.
Stay strong. Have belief in God. I'm going to tell a story here in a minute, and you can listen to it when you're offline here, and you'll understand why I have why belief in God is so important. So, all right, my man. Thanks for calling. Have a great day.
It's hard. Peace. It's hard to deny at this point. There's good and evil, man. There's a battle of good and evil going on.
The poison and the fruit. Just always tell yourself the poison and the fruit. That's what it's all about.
That's it, man. Hey, that's it, Mikey. Hey, listen, I always wanted to call in. I'm glad I called in.
Me too.
I've been a fan of yours for a long time. I love your show. Love your stream. Here's to everyone in the chat there. And if you see Philly, tell him he's got a big fan out here, too. And
all righty. Sounds good.
God bless you, Mikey. God bless you, Mikey. I'm sorry to hear about Flash, man. I love that little cat. I love your show.
Thank you so much, man. And we're gonna be running. We're gonna be having a podcast every week, starting next week, especially with football starting.
All right, so. I'm always try to be here whenever you come on, man. I love your show, man.
All right, my man. Thank you so much.
I'm an old geezer like you. I'm a couple years older than you.
Sounds good, man.
Respect,
means a lot.
Mikey.
Means a lot to me. It really does. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, bro.
All right. Have a good
night, brother.
You too. Peace.
Cheers, Mikey. Goodbye.
Yeah. So when I say believe in God, this is a good little story. You guys will like this. So on Tuesday, my best friend told me his father's going to Israel. Would I like a note put in the Wailing Wall? Anybody that doesn't know about the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem, it's considered the wall of God, and that God basically lives inside the wall, and everybody puts notes inside the wall. So he asked me, would I like a note put inside the wall? And I said, yeah, I would. And I said, I'd like to put a note in the wall to watch after Flashy, and to my brother was a little bit sick, and to watch after my brother. And so he went to Israel Wednesday morning. and he put the note in the wall, and Flashy passed away 4 hours later. Now, I don't believe that's a coincidence. You know, he went all the way to Israel, told him to put a thing in the wall to, you know, to keep it, you know, for God to, you know, take care of Flashy, you know. And people who, I'm not saying you have to be religious, but I feel sorry for people that don't believe in God. I think that's one of the biggest problems we have in the world right now. And if you look over, and if everybody that's on the stream or listens to the stream just goes and Googles the 10 Commandments, if everybody in the world would follow the 10 Commandments, we'd have world peace. We wouldn't have what we have today. Whether you believe in God or not, if you follow the 10 Commandments, let's just say you don't believe God gave us the 10 Commandments. I do believe that, but let's just say you don't. And that somebody in the world just wrote up the 10 Commandments. If you follow the 10 Commandments, we would have world peace. We wouldn't have the shit we're going through today. So that's all you need to know. It's really, you know, just look at them. Go read the 10 Commandments if you haven't read them in a while, right? I read them the other day, and I was just thinking, wow, you know, well, just how the world would be if everybody followed the 10 Commandments, you know. It just would be. 702-329-0480. Give us a call. If you want to play 4,000 added tomorrow, 7 p.m., mouthpoker@yahoo.com. Mouthpoker@yahoo.com, 4,000 added.
Hello.
Welcome to the Mouthpieces, Mike.
Hey, Mike. My name is Jeff. I'm calling from New York. How you doing today?
Good, Jeff. How are you, man? What are you up to?
I'm all right. Just hanging out. Listen, how do you feel about the banning of Andrew Tate and how they just want to silence anybody who talks about these globalists?
Wow. I think I didn't know who Andrew Tate was, okay? I started following it, and I think it's disgraceful. I think everything that he says is very truthful. But they are pushing this insane ideology that he's just telling the truth. I mean, they have to silence dissented voices. Okay, so let's just go like this. When Trump won in 2016, he won by having advertisements on Facebook and Twitter and all these things and through social media. Then once they realized the left, what they had on social media, they basically just are now, because now they can say, well, it's a private company, right? And now you see that they what's been coming out, they've got emails proving that the White House has been telling social media who
these companies,
who to censor. Well, that's illegal. Our government is not allowed to have any free speech censored. Okay, now it's a catch-22 by them saying it's a private company. But even if it is a private company, it is 100% against the First Amendment to have for any government official to tell any other company to silence any dissenting voices. And that's what they've been doing. And if you really think about what's going on in the world, and it's very important, is, and I don't care what side you're on, left or right. Let's just say the right was in power and they were telling you to I want this person
Anybody who does it is wrong.
Correct. You're either for free speech or you're against free speech. Just because you believe, okay, let's just say you're on the left, you believe that the way you think is correct, right? And you shouldn't be saying, well, my fellow Americans think that the way on the right is correct, and I want them censored because my way is my way or the highway. No, that takes away the ability to debate, right? So you cannot have censorship in this country. I remember when Google was talking about an algorithm to censor for the Chinese. And I said, and it's an American company, Google. I'm like, that's insane. I mean, I never thought they were going to write an algorithm to censor Americans. Did you?
Well,
I mean,
when the government and these private companies come together, isn't that called fascism?
that's called fascism. Correct. Yes.
So how come the loony left is not up in arms like they usually are?
Because it's become such tribalism now. They don't care who, if it gets censored, and they're so brainwashed to believe again, what have they said? Data is way more valuable than oil. Okay, when you have everybody's data, right, and you see what they look up. Let's just say I look up pro-right stuff, right? They're going to start emailing me stuff on the right. They're going to start they're going to start giving me commercials, ads with stuff on the right. What's the same with on the left? So what they're doing, and they realize what they have, is they have the ability the algorithm to brainwash everybody into one world order. If we have one world order, the world comes to an end. You know that, right? It just does.
Yeah, of course, but it's also about like simple things, like when they're talking about how like men can have babies or chicks with dicks.
It's just that's just
these are supposed to be the top of the top. The people with the 300,000 in college loan debt who went to Yale. They're supposed to be the smartest.
Yeah. But they're being brainwashed. It's called indoctrination. They're being indoctrinated into a very sick ideology. And see, that's why you need to pay attention to what's going on in the world, right? Most of these the government is loaning all these people all this money in student loans, right? To go to college, to indoctrinate them into an ideology, to push a political agenda that leaves these, and then they're left with all these bills, right? It's all being done on purpose. I mean, I don't want to name any names,
so crazy.
Okay?
And we don't have to get.
But there's
names.
somebody very, very big in the poker world, very big. I don't want to name any names, who used to own a student loan company, okay, and that's how he made money, giving out student loans. In 2010,
such a good racket.
But in 2010, the government put him out of business and took over all the student loans. So. So this particular person became one of the biggest GOP donors in the world, okay? And he's a very big in the poker industry. I don't want to name any names, but the point is he came after the left because what they did to him. And why, you have to know why the government took over, why Obama pushed to take over the student loans. It's all about indoctrination. You have to follow this religiously to know what's going on. And like I said earlier on the show, we must defeat gender ideology pushed on our kids. Pushed on our kids. If you're over 18, listen, I have transgender friends.
You can do whatever you want.
You do whatever you want.
18.
You're over 18. Pushing gender ideology on 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10-year-old kids is child abuse. And even Daniel, who's on the left, says this is insane. And he talks about how we must defeat it. You know what I'm saying?
It's nice to see Daniel come around finally.
Yeah, and the truth of the matter is once, and again, I'm not going to put voices in his head, but once you see certain crazy ideologies being pushed by your side, okay, you start to think what else is crazy. You see what I'm saying? And that's how you start to get red, what we call is red pilled, of course.
Red pill.
Mike, this is what happened here. Let's look it up, right? And about 80% of the time I've been right? And so like even one day, about a month ago, she said to me, she's like, what if everything I thought about life, my whole life has been a lie? I said it has. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not like I'm trying
But it's not the whole life, though. It's not even the whole life. It's the last 10 years.
Right. And she's very strong about the environment, right? And I get it, okay? And I care about the environment too, but see, the left is using climate change for political gain. They don't give two fucks about climate change. If they literally cared, that'd be one thing. Okay? They'll say, here's $370 million for my climate change. No, that's $370 million that they're going to take and they're going to slough off and fucking and funnel it and fucking money launder to all their little buddies. That's not going to anything for climate change.
But you know, like when you see these people who talk about climate change, and then you see the richest people in the world that everybody has beachfront properties,
right?
They don't even question. They don't take that into account. That's not in their formula even. It's so weird.
Like Leonardo DiCaprio is the biggest like push for the climate right? So he flies private to fucking France to pick up a climate change award. Do you understand that? Here's the thing: private jets put out 10 times more carbon than a commercial jet, and you only have one or two people on it. And they don't care. It's just all, if they believed their own bullshit, they wouldn't be flying private. That's just it.
Yeah.
They're just like if you believe, at least that crazy ass fucking brainwashed chick, Greta Thunberg, doesn't fly. She takes boats wherever she wants to go. I mean, give her credit.
She'll take 3 weeks. But once again, she's a young girl, you know.
Right, but at least give her respect for that. Like, if you're going to believe in something, then believe in something, you know. But the thing is do you really believe that them banning gasoline engine cars in California is going to change 1 inch of the climate? It's going to change nothing.
The hypocrisy on these people that they want to eliminate gas and only have electric cars, and then the next week or the next day in California and in Colorado, they tell people you can't even charge your car.
Yeah.
Turn off your air conditioner. It's so crazy.
People they just hear what this is like what we talk about projection, right? They hear projection of what they want, but it's never going to happen. We're 50 years away from green energy, right? Or from electric car. You know what I'm saying? We're 50 years away.
And a lot of money that they just keep burning that they could have put into clean energy, but they didn't.
If China and India, everybody's economies are run by electricity or by fuel, you know, whether it's electricity or gasoline or coal or whatever. If you're going to sit there and push electric cars or this, and they're going to sit there and keep having their coal plants, and they're going to dominate the world's fucking economies. I mean, this is like 1 + 1 is 2, but people don't see past what the fake news is telling them. You know, it's unbelievable.
I feel like I have a good feeling that most of this will pass and everything will be all right at the end.
I think it'll be all right too. You know, that speech,
especially with this guy the other day looking like Hitler on TV.
Right.
You know, I think that everything will pass. Especially that, you know, the loony left is also starting to see it a little bit. Nobody likes the man.
The loony left is crazier than the loony right. It ain't even close. Okay, they talk about political violence. Where have you seen any political right-wing violence? You had like 500 people at the Capitol.
Those fake guys in the khakis. They're all marching together.
Yeah. They put the left. Organized. I know what's going on, man. But every day, just remember, 140,000 businesses burned to the ground in 2020. Left-wing media didn't cover any of it. Remember? Do you remember in 2020 the whole entire building? I think it was a Wendy's was up in flames. and
fiery,
see it and
fiery, but mostly peaceful.
Yeah. He goes, as you see, it's a mostly peaceful protest as the whole entire fucking shopping center is burning to the ground. Okay? I listen, I don't want to argue. I don't want to tell people what to, I just tell people, do your homework. Do your homework. Do your homework.
But they
do your
don't.
homework. They don't, because they want confirmation bias. They go to their media, they watch their media, and then they get
They
confirmed.
want Trump to be the bad guy. They want him to be the Hitler-esque kind of person. This is what they,
Just remember this, and I'm going to go to another call. Everything they say Trump is what they are. Just remember that.
They project.
Project.
The left does excellent projecting. I give them that. They organize and project.
Well, they have the media. They have all the media. All the media minus Fox and Newsmax on TV, and they have all the social media now. So they can just push the agenda, push whatever news they want. But listen, if you do your homework, you'll realize that everything that they're saying is just 90% is a lie. You know, this year, right? You know, every year time there's a hurricane, they say, "Oh, look, climate change. We wouldn't have a hurricane if you could help us with climate change." Well, this year they've had 2 named storms in 2 months. It's the least amount of storms in 40 years in hurricanes. But there's one coming, and guarantee you it'll be all over oh, look at this hurricane. Oh, see, it's climate change. Give me a break, man.
Hopefully it gets hotter in California and they have no grid.
That's what you know what? I'm thinking the same thing after they announced about the electric cars and shit. If that grid goes out here in the next week and everybody, I'm going to laugh my ass off because they're so stupid, man. They are.
It's hilarious. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, man. Hey, if you ain't doing nothing, come check out my online tournament tomorrow. Mouthpoker.yahoo.com. 4,000 added. I'll talk to you later.
Got it. Bye.
Later. All right. Let's see. We have any more calls? All right, that's cool. So, anyways, I don't want to get too much into politics. I do feel that even people that I know are Democrats have said that speech that Biden did the other day looked like a Nazi speech. It was, and he tried to walk it back the next day. But what people don't understand, this is what's going on, and you could take it to the bank, because Biden's brain dead and doesn't know how to fucking talk. And he had to walk back. Well, I don't think any Trump supporters are actual terrorists. What they've done is the left has put millions of dollars into Trump-backed candidates, okay? And now what they're going to do is they're going to say, you can't vote for these people. They're they're election deniers and insurrectionists, right? And that's how they're going to try and win the midterms, by the people that they put all the money in that are Trump people to win the primaries. Now they're going to say, hey, don't vote for him. He's an insurrectionist, election denier. He's a danger to democracy. And that's what they're going to do to try and win the election. So that was what that speech was all about. It wasn't about alienating 74 million Trump supporters as fascists. It's about alienating the people who the Democrats have paid big money to try and win the primaries so they can paint them as terrorists. Anyways, that's what's going on with that. So, anyways, we're going to be back next Saturday, the day before football starts. We're going to give out our top pick of the week. Last year, I in the pick'em contest, I started out the first 2 weeks, 20 games. So you pick 10 a week. I was 5-15. I ended up 16 games over 500. So that means I was 31 games over 500 the last 16 weeks of the season. That's pretty amazing for me. I think I finished like 16th in the league. They pay the top 12, but it was one of my better years last year. as you guys know, I don't bet sports no more, but it is fun to get in the pick'em contest and do the suicide pools. You know, that's a lot of fun. So I'm going to give out my pick of the week every week. You want to hear something funny and positive? Let's see. You know, things have been so negative lately. You know, well, they've been good for me, actually. You know, Flash passing away yesterday really hurt. I say in life, you know, I'll give some positive things to say is, you know, life's not fair. You know, a lot of things negative. I cried all day last night. I cried this morning. You know, I lost my best friend of 21 years, you know, literally my best friend. I mean, anybody who watched the show knows how me and Flash talk all the time. He comes on, you know, and, you know, my girl, she put this picture, me and Flash, right here on the bottom, and you could see it. It's something that I'll put next to my my thing forever. You know, it's just, this is my boy. You know, I get emotional, but you know, that's just the way it is. It's my boy, and so you know, it's gonna suck. You know, 21 years of him coming up and laying on me and talking to me and being my best friend, and it sucks. So, you know, life's not fair. You got to do what you can and try and help people become better people. Try and improve, you know, your life, everybody's life. You know, don't think you know it all. You know, don't think the other person doesn't know anything. You know, try and you know, try and you know, come together as people and make the world a better place. And you know, that's just what you have to do in life. You know, life's not easy. It's not fair, but you got to do what you can. So anyways, I'm going to go watch some football. If you want a shot at an extra $4,000, there's going to be about 30 people in my online tournament tomorrow. Email mouthpoker@yahoo.com. Deposit $200 to be available to play in the 4K added tournament tomorrow night at 7 p.m. I'll be a $100 bounty. Basically, I'm doubling the prize pool. Free roll for Flashy, an extra 4K, and you know, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being there for me. And I'll see you next week on The Mouthpiece. God bless.
The Mouthpiece.